This is my final project for the program I made, and it's an order system for a clothing store. So I'm going to walk you through my code, explain how it works, some of the techniques I've used and why, and then at the end I will show the program in action. So let's get into it. First up, we have the constants and global variables. Tax rate is 6%. Size options. So this is just a list of size choices from small to extra large. Inventory is an empty list that will hold the items we load from the inventory file, which, by the way, I already have it pulled up over here. This is where it's pulling the inventory from. Then the total before tax is a global variable that tracks the running total before tax. So these are the constants. They do not change at all during the program. And our first function that we'll go over is this. It's the read inventory function. And what it does is it reads the inventory data from the text file that I showed here, and it loads it into a list. I used the with open statement to read the file line by line, so I don't have to worry about closing it manually. And for each line, I use the split method to break it into parts. First the item number, then the name, and then the price. And then I add these as a sublist into the inventory list. And this function ensures my program has all of the data it needs to display the inventory and calculate the cost. And next up, we have display available items function. This function handles showing the inventory to the user. It uses a for loop to go through each item in the inventory list. I formatted the output with F strings to show the item number, name, and price clearly. And this just makes it easy for the employee putting the order in to see what's available to order. Our next function is save order summary. And this saves the order details to a text file after the order is placed, and whenever it gives you the summary, it will save it to a file called that. And I use a with open statement to write the order summary, itemized cost, and totals to the file. And then I loop through the order list to write each item and then add the totals at the end. And what this does is it just creates a permanent record of the order, which if a store was actually using a program like this, they would want to keep a record so they know what they've ordered. And then next up is the get valid input function. And what this one does is it validates the user's input for selecting items, quantities, and sizes. So it uses while loops to ensure that the input is valid before moving on. For example, the loop keeps asking for an item number until the user enters one within the range of the inventory list, 1 to 11. So if you enter something out of that range or just something invalid, it is going to say invalid choice. Please select a valid item number until you enter the correct one. And I also use an if statement to check if the input is a number and if the size is one of the allowed options. Then the function returns the quantity, item, and size as a single set of data. And this approach just ensures that the program won't crash if someone enters something invalid or unexpected, just to make things more user-friendly. After that, we have the continue ordering function, and this function checks if the user wants to keep adding items to the order. It uses a while loop to validate the input, and it makes sure the response is yes or no. Those are the options. And based on the input, it returns either true or false to control whether the ordering process continues. So if yes, then you can add another item. If no, it's going to go ahead and give you your order summary. And if you enter anything invalid, it will say this. So I just thought this was a good way to keep the program flowing and keep it organized and everything. And then after that one, we have the place order function. And this is where most of the action happens. So the function starts by displaying the inventory using the display available items function. And then it calls the get valid input to get details about each item that the user wants to order. And I use a while loop here so that the user can keep adding items to the order until they're done. Then it calculates the running total before tax and adds each item to the order list, and that will store all of the details later. At the end, the function calculates the total with tax, and it will call the save order summary to save everything to that file at the end of the order summary file. So essentially what this function does is it brings all of the smaller parts of the program together into one process, basically. And then next up, last but not least, we have the main function. So this is the one that starts the whole thing. It greets the user, gets the employee name, calls the read inventory function to load the inventory data, and then it calls the place order to handle the ordering process. I use the main function here to keep my structure of my program clear. It's just easy to see where the program starts and how it flows. And finally at the end here, we call the main function here. And what this does, it just kicks off the whole program and ensures everything runs in the right order that it needs to. So now that we've went over how everything works, then I will go ahead and demonstrate how the program itself works. So first up, it asks for the name, and then notice after you put the name in, it loads that inventory. And it's going to ask for a number 1 to 11, because each item is matched up with a number. So whatever number you want to order, or whatever item you want to order, you'll enter that corresponding number. So for example, say if you want to put something that's not on the list, it's going to say that's an invalid choice. Please select a valid item number. Let's just go with the first one. We'll say 50 of those, medium size. Do I want to add more? Sure. We'll add one more thing just to demonstrate. 99, small. And when it says, do we want to add more items, this time we will say no. So when you say no, it is going to give you that final order summary, and it is going to save it to a text document. Okay, there's the folder, and when you open up that order summary, you can see both of the items that I had selected. It'll tell you the name, the quantity ordered, how much it is, and then here it totals them up before and after tax. So yeah, that's my clothing store order system. I hope you can see how all the pieces kind of came together to make this little program, and thank you for watching.